Most people think wealth starts in the bank. It does not. It starts in the mind. And here is the hidden truth. Two people can hold the same amount of money and live completely different lives. One uses it to build, the other loses it before the month ends. Same money. Different identity. The difference was never the dollars. It was the mind holding them. The story of wealth is as old as civilization itself. Kings hoarded land. Industrial giants swallowed entire markets. Today, tech billionaires build fortunes larger than the economies of nations. The currency keeps changing. But the game remains the same. A small group keeps multiplying wealth while billions struggle just to survive. And the question is not only why do some people have more? The deeper question is this: why do people think about money so differently? Is it luck, education, connections, timing? Those things matter, but beneath every financial decision sits something deeper: a belief, a fear, a wound, an identity. What you believe money is will decide what money becomes in your life. For some people, money is safety. For some, it is proof. For some, it is control. For some, it is freedom. And for a rare few, it becomes legacy. This is the journey through the 7 levels of wealth thinking. And the uncomfortable truth is this: most people never rise because they are not only fighting money problems, they are fighting the version of themselves those problems created. Level 1 is survival thinking. At this level, money is not a tool. It is oxygen. You are not dreaming about investments. You are not planning retirement. You are not thinking about passive income. You are asking one question: can I get through today? Can I pay rent? Can I buy food? Can I make it home? When life becomes an emergency, the future disappears. Not because people lack intelligence, not because they lack ambition, but because stress shrinks the mind. Scarcity steals attention. The urgent destroys the important, and tomorrow becomes a luxury. Maria worked 2 jobs for 11 years, mornings at a cleaning company, evenings at a diner. Her whole world was the bus stop, the job, and the kitchen table where the bills waited. She once said she did not think about the future because the future felt too expensive. That is survival thinking. It is not laziness. It is not weakness. It is what happens when the present keeps attacking you, and yet inside every survival story there is a mind capable of more. But first, it has to stop bleeding. Level 2 is comfort thinking. You made it out, not into luxury, but out of panic. The paycheck comes on time. The fridge is full. The rent is handled. For the first time, life feels stable. And compared to where you came from, stability feels like heaven. Linda is an accountant in her mid-40s. 2 kids, a dog. A mortgage she and her husband manage carefully. Every year their goal was simple: stay steady, maybe get a small raise, maybe take 1 vacation, nothing dramatic, just peace. And there is dignity in that. But comfort has a quiet danger. It feels like safety while slowly becoming a ceiling. When survival fear fades, ambition can fade with it. People begin upgrading life instead of expanding it: a nicer car, more subscriptions, more restaurants, more comfort, less growth. The thought becomes, I earned this, I deserve this, and they are not wrong. But life does not stay still. Markets shift, jobs vanish, health changes, bills rise, and the person who only built comfort may discover there was no real foundation beneath it. Comfort is not the enemy. The enemy is mistaking comfort for the final level. Level 3 is status thinking. Now money is no longer about survival. It is no longer about comfort. Now money becomes a message. And the message is simple: look at me. I made it. This is the level where identity begins to attach itself to display. The car is not transportation. The house is not shelter. The watch is not about time. They become proof. Proof that you escaped, proof that you matter, proof that the people who doubted you were wrong. But here is the emotional contradiction. The more you try to prove you are enough, the less enough you feel. Raj built a successful tech company in his early 30s. By 35, he had the house, the car, the clothes and the vacations that looked perfect online. He thought success would make him feel powerful. But when people stopped reacting, he felt empty. That is the trap of status. You spend to be seen, but being seen is not the same as being whole. Admiration feels good for a moment, then it fades. So you buy again, upgrade again, post again, prove again. Until one day a quiet question appears. Who would I be if nobody was watching? Level 4 is security thinking. After status comes fear. Because once you have something to lose, money changes again. Now it becomes protection. The goal is no longer to impress. The goal is to never fall. History has humbled even the richest people. The crash of 1929, the collapse of 2008, the sudden death of entire industries, fortunes can vanish overnight. Sarah built a manufacturing business over 20 years. After watching friends lose everything in the recession, she changed completely. She moved most of her money into safer assets. The returns were smaller, but she could sleep. And that makes sense. Security matters. Emergency funds matter. Stable assets matter. Protecting what you built is wisdom, but security becomes a prison when protection replaces progress. The fear that once lived in survival returns in a cleaner suit. You are no longer afraid of hunger. You are afraid of falling. And that fear can make you stop moving. But standing still in a world that keeps changing is also a risk. Level 5 is growth thinking. This is where wealth begins to change shape. Money is no longer just something to earn, spend, show, or protect. Now it becomes something to deploy. A seed, a lever, a tool. People at this level have seen through the earlier traps. They know status is hollow. They know comfort can make you soft. They know security without growth becomes stagnation. So they begin asking a different question, not what can this money buy, but what can this money build? Alina grew up watching her parents live paycheck to paycheck. She did not break the pattern by suddenly becoming rich. She broke it by thinking differently. Every time she wanted to spend money to look successful, she asked what that money could create instead. Muhammad arrived in a new country with almost nothing. 15 years later, he employed 40 people. Then he began funding scholarships for children in his home region. He understood something most people miss. Money grows fastest when it is connected to people, ideas, and systems. Growth thinking is not about greed. It is about direction. It is the moment money stops being emotional noise and becomes strategy. Level 6 is freedom thinking. This is the level culture rarely understands. Because freedom does not always look impressive. It is hard to photograph. It is hard to flex. It may not get applause, but it is where life finally starts to feel like yours. At this level, people realize the ultimate currency was never money. It was time. James built a software company in his 20s. By 31, the company could run without him. Systems were in place. The team was strong. Revenue kept coming. Then he walked away from a salary most people would dream of. He chose painting. People thought he was losing his mind. He said he had never felt more sane. That is freedom thinking. Money is no longer chased. It has been designed. It does not exist to prove anything. It exists to buy back life. But even freedom has a hidden contradiction. Once you can do anything, you must face the hardest question. What is actually worth doing? Level 7 is legacy thinking. This is where the journey changes completely, not because the money gets bigger, but because the self gets smaller. The question is no longer how much can I get, it becomes what will outlast me. This is the level where wealth turns into impact, not display, not comfort, not control, impact. Warren Buffett once said he wanted to give his children enough to do anything, but not so much that they could do nothing. That sentence carries the heart of legacy thinking. Because legacy is not just what you leave behind, it is what you make possible. Millie built a technology empire over 30 years. At 68, she sat in a boardroom while attorneys discussed money that would outlive her by decades. And something shifted. She stopped asking how much it was worth. She started asking what it was worth doing with. She funded coding academies in underserved communities. Within 5 years, more than 4,000 young people had started careers they once could not imagine. That is legacy. Wealth transformed into futures, money turned into memory, success converted into meaning. And this is the paradox. The highest level of wealth is not accumulation, it is release. 7 levels, 1 journey, survival, comfort, status, security, growth, freedom, legacy. But the hidden truth is this: wealth was never really about money. Money only reveals the mind behind it. In survival, it reveals fear. In comfort, it reveals relief. In status, it reveals insecurity. In security, it reveals control. In growth, it reveals possibility. In freedom, it reveals choice. And in legacy, it reveals love. Most people stop somewhere between comfort and status. They escape pain. They find stability. Then they chase symbols. They spend their strongest years trying to look wealthy instead of becoming free. And the tragedy is not always failure. Sometimes the tragedy is succeeding at the wrong game. Because the real leap is not from poor to rich. It is from having to becoming. From proving to building. From asking what can I own to asking who am I becoming with what I own. Wealth begins long before it reaches your account. It begins when you decide what money means to you. Is it fear? Is it proof? Is it protection? Is it possibility? Is it freedom? Or is it something larger than you? Every level is real. Every level is filled with people doing the best they can with the mindset they have. But mindsets are not permanent. They can change. They can expand. They can be rebuilt. And maybe the most important question is not what level am I at? The real question is this: what level am I becoming? Luxury is not the final level. Freedom is. And legacy is what begins when freedom stops being only about you.